Hey, you guys, it's Cam, one half of the Football Frame of Mind podcast team. Trying out this live for the first time, man. So I figured no better time to do it than with, the news of Nick Saban retiring, man. So first off, let me say, man, it's a tough situation, man, when you think about Coach Saban leaving, man. It's because what he's done for college football, as far as changing the landscape, recruiting, things like that, man. Like everything, man. That seems like they made, certain rules to stop Nick Saban, man. You know, and that shows how great of a coach he was. And it hurts, but when you think about how much has changed since 2007 when he took this job, man, I think he rolled with the punches very well, man. And it can be, hard for some people, some fans be like, no, man, the dynasty's over, man. But it's really not. You know, I think if you think about all the coaches that have retired, uh, sometimes it's hard for these programs, especially the good coaches. It's hard for them to pick up the pieces, man. But you know what? Nick Saban has left Alabama in a way better place. For you know for anybody to come after him, man. It seems, as as I would say, it seems apropos that he retires after the playoffs, man. But it seems like this is the right time, you know. I mean, being 72 and still getting it, there's a lot of 72-year-olds that ain't getting it, man. But he's 72 and he's still getting it out here, man. I mean, pounding the pavement for recruiting. I mean, all of that, man. I mean, it seems like, he was beating younger guys, even in the NIL space, So it seems like, he had a lot left in the tank, in my opinion. But I definitely didn't think he was gonna retire, at least not this soon. The, um, I thought he was gonna give the 12 team playoff a shot, just to see, how it was, But it's a perfect time, man. Hey, new era for Alabama football, man, is coming soon. Um, but instead of being hum and gloom about it, man, I like to just talk about some of the best moments, man. I mean, shoot, we could start with him taking the job in '07. I mean, like, be honest with you, he had a nice team with the Miami Dolphins, man. I mean, they was moving up, you know, and he had a lot of good players. Some are in the Hall of Fame right now, So for a person to leave a job like that, you know, to come to college, shows what he's made of, Like, I'll do something else. Now, a lot's been said about how he handled the situation, but I mean, hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, man. So I ain't mad at it. But at the same time, when he took the job, Bama wasn't necessarily in the best of situations, So I would I would say it was kind of trash, you know. But they have been through a lot, especially since Gene Stallings left. And then you got Mike Shula and some of these other guys. Shoot, there was one coach that didn't even get a chance to coach. He was fired before he even picked up a clipboard. So um, it's important, to realize that part, man. I mean, then you think about building it up, the '08 season, when they lose to Florida, in the SEC championship game, that team was pretty good, man. John Parker Wilson was a hell of a good quarterback, So But that team, to start, you build with some really key freshmen, man, like Julio Jones, like I mean, from Foley, Alabama. So that's one of those recruits that really, changed the game, So like I said, man, then, winning in '09 was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that was live. I mean, you basically you run the table, got some really close games, man, that would, make you feel like, oh man, they may not do it. But at the same time, going undefeated and beating Florida in the SEC championship game after they beat us was really cool, man. So um, that was a highlight, man. Like I said, then going on that run, like from 10, 11, '09 to 12 was really good, man. Shoot, man, if it wasn't for Cam Newton, we might have did something else too. But I digress, man. A nice run, you know. So then after that, you see the playoff era, man, and I feel like, man, it had a lot to do with Nick Saban, man, because if you know if Alabama doesn't get to the championship game against LSU that year, I don't know if we really do the playoff, man. So I think it had a lot to do. They trying to stop this dynasty before it got started, and then they moved the goalposts back with the playoff, right? So my thing is, Nick Saban has done all this stuff, and it had a lot to do with what college football is today. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really gonna say NIL because I think that was kind of a storm that's been brewing since before time. You know what I'm saying? And hell, we've been seeing so many illegal recruiting scandals over the years, man. All because players, getting money, which they deserve, But but as far as for Nick Saban, man, like I said, I want to wish Coach a like I said, a great retirement, man. He's got grandbabies. Spend time doing some of his housework that he says he's really good at. But I'm really excited to see what's next for him, man. But moving forward, man, let me make this live a little short, man. But moving forward, just want to give some candidates that I think should take the job. You know, um, so looking at this, I got to go back to Bear Bryant. Um, Bear Bryant built something back in the day that was almost comparable to what Nick Saban did. Winning a bunch of national championships, winning in recruiting, things like that. So to build a national brand like that, it's hard to replace. You know what I'm saying? But in this era with social media and all things like that, reduced scholarships, Nick Saban did so much. So now that the times have changed, you need a more modern approach to things. Uh, Kids are hip nowadays. So although I don't think Nick Saban lost the touch that much, need somebody else in there. So my first coach that I would put on the list is Lane Kiffin, man. Talk about somebody that is hip and you know, always ready for war, talking a lot of smack, but understands the standard. And when you give him the right pieces, as far as administratively, and he's going to use NIL. He's showing that in Ole Miss, but Ole Miss doesn't have the resources that Alabama has. So I think the fact that he's won with Ole Miss and really everywhere he's been, I think that's my favorite to get the job, man. He is I've been always on the Lane train, right? You know what I'm saying? I know if you watch the program, I've said that I didn't want to lose Kirby or Sarkeesian because they were geniuses. But they all got good jobs now, man. I wouldn't think that Sarkeesian or Kirby Smart would leave. Because first of all, Texas is coming to the SEC, and and it just made the playoffs. Don't make sense, right? And Kirby Smart, that's his alma mater. You can't go different than that. You know what I'm saying? You went to that school, so why not uplift the school, right? So I don't think those are options. But number 2 on the list, beside Lane Kiffin, is Dan Lanning, man. I know Oregon, has a lot of resources, so that's kind of like a dark horse in my opinion. But I do think that him coming to Alabama is a possibility, man. I mean, if Mario Cristobal can leave Oregon, I think Dan Lanning can too. You know, and being how good he was with Georgia, I think it'll be good, man, to come back in the SEC, man, and do his thing. But to say that, I don't know. I don't know. But I do think he would entertain it, you know. Number 3 on the list, man. I know it's not popular, but Dabo Swinney, man. Uh, Clemson is gone stale, and the ACC is about to look like the Pac-12 in a minute because everybody's finna leave if Florida State leaves. But Dabo Swinney, man, you talk about a guy that went to the school, national champion at the school, so he knows what Alabama football means to the state and what Tuscaloosa means, to him, being there. So I believe he's from Alabama too, honestly. So like it would be a seamless transition, man. But one thing he would have to do is he would have to what's the word I'm looking for? He would have to become updated with the times because he's been a known guy to not update not update with the times, man, as far as recruiting and all that stuff, man. So I don't know, man. I think it'll be interesting. So let's see, number 4 as far as people that would replace Nick Saban. Let's see. I would think somebody internally. Not sure who that would be. I don't think Tommy Reese is ready, so I don't know if they would do that. He's so young, man. But sometimes that's a good thing, But I wouldn't put a person like that in a position, man. It's almost like Perkins replacing Bear Bryant, man. That's hard to do, man. That's hard to come after a legend like that. Gosh, I don't know, but I think that would be an interesting thing. But we could see a situation like that. Like I said, I don't know internally who would do it, but be interesting. So, let's see somebody else that. Let's see another person that I think will replace Nick Saban, man. There's a lot of good coaches out there, man, that you could think about, But I don't know. I stick with 4. I stick with 4 right now. Lane Kiffin, Dan Lanning, Dabo Swinney, and an internal hire maybe. So I don't know. We'll see. So yeah. So that was my live reaction, man. Like I said, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, man. Check us out. Let me know what you think about Coach Saban retiring. And, who you think might replace him, man. As always, this is a Football Frame of Mind podcast. Signing off.